What's going on, guys? Big Mike, D717 Outlaw back with here today. So we are on, I think this will be the last part of the turbo kit install. There's a few little things that we have to do. My GoPro, unfortunately, lost my original intro and 3 other clips that I had of me modifying some things on the bike to accommodate the airbox. So we have the airbox on, and you may notice these 2 screws, and there's 2 more on the other side. You have to brace this airbox to the frame of the bike, so that way the boost can't pop this off. Even though it can't really go anywhere being underneath the tank, you still have to brace it so that way it holds the throttle bodies and it keeps everything on the motor when you're pushing some crazy boost, which we're not going too bad, but still you have to brace these. So RCC gives you these little inserts called riv nuts. Now you have to drill 2 25/64 holes in the frame, but then there are 2 points that you don't. So these upper 2 bolts on this side and the other side, you can actually use this nut that's on here on this body mount, just loosen it up, and then you run the bracing, which the bracing are just some aluminum flat aluminum pieces. There are 3 different sizes. These 2 are the same. This one's a little bit longer, and then this one is extremely long, but you modify them to fit. There are no set points to mount this, but we're going to take advantage of one, which this mount point right in here is actually a hole that's already in the bike where this heat shield goes. You do have to drill it a little bit bigger, but since there's already a hole there, might as well take advantage of it. You can just start it and it's good. We just went directly across and put another hole in the frame. That one took a little bit because you have to drill a pilot hole because it's sloped, so it's kind of hard. You can't go straight in on it. You kind of have to drill at an angle on the frame, but the riv nut fits. Oop. The riv nut does fit inside that. It's a little hard to get in here. There we go. So the riv nut is in, and then once you get these in, basically what a riv nut is this sleeve compresses and then it forces tight against that lip or the channel of the frame, and it puts a threaded insert in the side of the frame, and then that's what you run your bracing off of. But anyway, let's go ahead, get these in, get these braces done, and then hopefully we can start running our cold side piping and get this bike finished up, and then that's gonna pretty much wrap it up. Then there's a few odds and ends we have to do to the bike prior to the dyno day, which is gonna be, of course, got to get the new wheels and tires mounted up. I have new chain and sprockets. We also have, for tuning purposes, we have our new boost gauge cluster, and I decided to get another gauge to run off the air shifter, so that way I can keep an eye on air pressure without having to look at this pressure gauge. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started on this and get this done. That took a little bit of time just because I'm not used to the riv nuts too much, but we have one fresh threaded insert here and one here, so we can go ahead and start putting our bracing on, bending it to fit. You just want it to kind of be out of the way because you have to think the gas tank's coming down and it does sit pretty close to this stuff, so just try to bend them so they're still going to be pretty rigid, but make sure that they're kind of in and out of the way and clear the gas tank. So, all right, let's keep rolling on this, get these braces on, and start with piping. Alright guys, so a little bit of time, we got all of the bracing mocked up, we got it all trimmed, went ahead, rounded the edges on these, pre-drilled the holes. The hole's a 1/4 inch, and pretty much got everything ready to go. I had numbered everything, so I'm going to double check a couple things on the instructions, make sure that we were doing this in the proper order, but as far as I know, we're going to go ahead, get the clamps on the throttle bodies, get that clamped down, and then we can go ahead and put the bracing on. And I think once that's done, we can start working on the cold side piping over on that side. But go ahead and get into this and get these on. Based on the instructions, we're going to go ahead, we're going to get this idle air hose hooked up. They do give you a new hose clamp, so you can get rid of this little C-clamp here. I'm gonna go ahead and get these clamps back down on the motor or on top of the throttle bodies, and yeah, hook up our vacuum lines. This one here should be off of the pressure regulator, and then we do have another rubber line that we have to run from the wastegate up, which should be pretty simple. I mean, there's a lot of space here between the motor, but go ahead and get that, and yeah, keep it rolling. Well guys, we're on the other side, and the bracket that we use on this side works, but on the other side there's this little cleat that holds the hydraulic line that goes to your clutch. Unfortunately, the brace for this interferes with this, so we're actually going to cut it and just cut this little hook off and keep it, pretty much just keep this brace as is, make it identical to this side, and the hydraulic line will just rest against the bracing for the airbox. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and cut this and get this mounted back up. Alright guys, well, a little bit of modification later. All we did was took the Dremel to it, just cut that flat, get rid of that little hook, and yeah, now we can go ahead and get it mounted. Alright guys, we have all of the bracing done. Airbox is securely mounted. We have all of our bands tightened. We have our line hooked up. We are going to be looking into it to try to, you do have to modify your ram air. Pardon me, I probably should have took these off to do this, but we're going to modify these, and the big reason you want to modify them just to go around the pipe is because I'm pretty sure I said this already, but there's a body mount pin here, and then there's another one, where did it go? Right here. And you want to keep those intact, so pretty much all you have to really do is almost like notch this section out and then remove a small part of it that's inside the little channel here in the frame. But we're gonna go ahead and start tweaking on this a little bit. All right guys, we have the piping in, like I said, with the trimming. Trim in the ram airs however you please. As you can see, nicked my finger with some of the trimming, but pretty much made it to where the pipe can stick right out, and it's getting there. We're just got to get this piece in here. I'm not going to clamp anything down quite yet, but just get all the boots on and make sure that everything fits nice. I'll probably go ahead and put this bodywork back together since I don't need to be up in here anymore. And she's just about done. Alright guys, well, as you can see, it got a lot later in the day. I was having issues with GoPro batteries. They kept dying on me, but we got the bike pretty much wrapped up based on RCC's specs for this. We have the airbox mounted up. We got our bracing complete, which actually took most of the day just because bending it and making it go around things. I mean, I have like millimeter of clearance between this bolt, and just making everything work took a little bit of time. Of course, we had our riv nuts into the frame. We have the airbox mounted up, ready to go. We have our vacuum lines from the wastegate. We have the vacuum line for the fuel pressure regulator. What else do we got up here? The idle air hose here on the back of the airbox. And then, yeah, we went ahead and got the radiator mounted up. A couple little things on that. Unfortunately, I think the shop still has my radiator hose. I think, if not, I'll have to order a new one. But my right size radiator hose and clamps are missing. But we got all the piping done. Had to go ahead and modify the ram air that these bikes all have. You can see this side here, solid pipe. We about cut it in half and then notched it on the bottom to allow for the piping to come out and go directly to that good old Turbski, and she's ready to go. So for the most part, guys, RCC so far, I mean, for the entire install, everything has been to the spec of RCC in their install. There are a few other steps that we have to do until the bike is good to fire or to turn over, we have to prime the engine, get some oil in it, because again, we had turbo pistons installed, so there's no oil, absolutely no oil in this motor. I have to get a new clutch basket. The stock clutch basket, under certain horsepower settings, are not good. You'll destroy them before you know it. And most of it comes when these little fingers here at the end, they can break off. So I'm gonna order an MTC billet clutch basket. We have our oil ready to go. Wheels are down there. We have our tires. We have our Outlaw Racing stainless steel bearings, Vortex chain or Vortex sprocket, EK drag chain. That chain's rated for almost 400 horsepower or more, which should be plenty for what we have. We have our boost gauges that are going up here on the triple tree. Well, boost gauge and air pressure gauge, I have that mounted up ready to go. Just have to get the bracket put in between the actual triple tree plate and that bronze plate up top. What else do we got? We got our coolant. Got to figure out these wastegate springs because I'm trying to do 6 pounds. The instructions have nothing in here about these sizes. I have to message Richard at RCC to see what is what. And the other part too is I didn't see anything in the instructions that has to do with these wires. I am not sure as to what they go to. The coloring to me looks like it could be with the cooling system, like maybe a radiator fan, but it doesn't. I didn't see anything about it. So we're kind of going to play it off by that, and I'm going to talk with Richard and see, because it'll be a little bit till the bike fires on its own. But yeah, guys, turbo's done. Turbo's in. Airbox is already plumbed up, ready to go. We're just waiting on racing season and getting the rest of this stuff finished up. So as always, guys, I hope you like this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up. If there's anything that you want to know more in depth on that I didn't cover in this video with part 5, drop those comments down below. Or if there's something about a previous step, go back to the other videos, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll have the links for those down below so you guys can check those out. But yeah, we're getting there, guys. And yeah, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you guys next one. As always, remember, ride safe, ride smart, always wear a helmet. See ya.